Hi, welcome to my presentation. So today we're going to be talking about the issues and benefits of smart metering systems worldwide. That is what I chose to do my technology issue essay on. So right here, if we look at this image, this is what smart metering is. So when we're gauging like our energy consumption through our lights, through our refrigerator, through our TV, through our air conditioner, anything that you can think of that emits electricity or energy that has anything and everything to do with the smart metering system. So where did they come from? That's one of the biggest questions that I wanted to answer, because I felt like it was important for the study. Like how would we continue to talk about this if we didn't know exactly where it came from? And this came from actually a man named Herman Armon. He invented the smart meter system in 1883, and pretty much why he did this was to gauge the energy consumption based through electricity and gas that a household emits. And that's pretty much what it does for its main purpose. So mainly, the entire purpose of the one smart meter system is to gauge consumption through a household. This is exactly what it would look like. You would see them all over the place, honestly. Like any businesses have them, you have them in your home. I'm sure the city, like any type of city municipal building, they would have them. So in terms, what do? We kind of discussed that. They take note of the energy consumption, but while they do that, they also emit gas. And there's not really a way to determine, like they can see exactly what they emit, but there's not really a way to stop the production of what they emit. So that's not really something that they can handle. In terms of like everything that it does, collecting the data, taking the numbers, and correlating that just across other things in comparison to of that nature. It would just take that data and then it would correlate that, but there's not really a way to determine what type of percentage of gas would emit from that, if that makes sense. So why is this a problem? In terms of smart meter systems, they are implemented highly between the United States and the European Union. The European Union is the second highest country that has them embedded into their system, or they use these systems very much. So they're the second leading country that does that, which would make the United States the first leading country that has these smart meter systems. So if we know that 100 million of these systems were implemented in the EU, in the European Union, and then we just learned a little bit of facts of like, in terms of 2/3 of that from smart meters is gas emitted from the EU, and that's for the entire country. So that would mean, in comparison to the United States, that we also would have to emit a high percent of greenhouse gases. So in terms of that, who emits more? I would think that the United States would emit more, only because it has more smart meter systems all over the United States. And that's just from the article that was read. And furthermore, adding to that, Can it be controlled? It's like I said, it can't really be controlled. It's something that just happens. Like, if we're going to use this system, this is the outcomes of how its use produces. Like, if we use this is the outcome that it gives us, and that's not really something that can be controlled unless we decide to stop using it. And what that means worldwide is that the more that we use these systems and we're not being cautious of the amount of gas that is emitted into the air, this could mean life or death for a lot of countries, not just the United States or the European Union, because once the gas is into the air, we read that, like, it can blow all over and it can go from state to state or country to country. And once it's in the air, like, it can't just go away. So I feel like that would mean a very, very alarming no worldwide. So I felt like that was something to include. Over here we just have a little image of all of the things that it can personally take note of. So, like, we have other transport, household and services, agriculture, waste. In terms of that, this is all things that this system can pull data from, in terms of percentages, in terms of just many things. Overall, is this good or bad for society? I would say that it has the capabilities to be good, but it has some capabilities to be bad. So it's kind of like good cop, bad cop. So we have this system. We can see that the technologies that it produces, they can't be denied. It's a lot, and it has the potential to be very helpful across the United States, across the European Union, across the world. I would just say that it's something that we could use, but I would just keep cautious of the amount of gas that's emitted with it. And if it gets to be out of control, then obviously it's time to decide on a new system to either invent or to get rid of that system, because we can't continue to emit high percentages of gas into the air and expect our Earth to still be good overall and coming into the preceding years or like the future years. So in terms of limiting it, I would just, like I said, I would just be cautious. I would pay attention to it. I think that we should keep the system. I don't think that we should eliminate it, but I do think that there is some grounds to pay attention and tune in and just kind of make sure that we're not emitting more than what we personally think we are, or let it get too out of hand. And then I included the picture of the power grids over here because other than gauging electricity, it does have the capabilities to enhance our power grids. I did hear that just over the news that our power grids are weak in the United States, and I think that that's something that should be tackled on. Doing research on the smart meter system, this is one potential way that we could upgrade this system to potentially help our power grids and make them more stable. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting facts within this project, and I really enjoyed it. All right, thank you.